Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Dương from EMeS team. Glad to be here today. Today, I will introduce. Today, we will introduce you guys to a smart device that can be an important part of logistic industry in Vietnam. As you can see here, is this a smart scale, right? So that's what I want to introduce today. So let's start to figure out what it is. First, why we need this smart scale. The problem is currently in Vietnam there's two ways to calculate fees. To calculate the fee when you're sending a package is based on weight and volumetric weight. For examples, when shipping from destination A to destination B with the same weight, but when we are shipping a ton of iron, the cost is less than when shipping a ton of cotton because it needs more container to use to shipping from A to B. So that's the difference about the weight and volumetric weight. Weight and volumetric weight. So in Vietnam, in some logistic companies currently, staff often ignore the volumetric weight because of some reason. Maybe about too many. There's not enough time for each customer because the number of customer per day is very large, or they need to they encountering error when calculating fees and inputting data, so it takes time to recalculate and so on. So this problem leads to serious consequences such as shipping cost loss or ineffective staff utilization or difficulties in parcel management. So we need a solution to solve all the problem about, and we introduce you guys here is EMeS. So what can EMeS do? EMeS is a high accurate and reliable device. First is accuracy. The time required to measure and charge are now in just seconds. You will not be wait for postal worker to measure your package and then estimate them for the shipping fees in minutes long. So it's optimized labor and time. Because even without the need of postal worker, customer can come and measure and pay for their shipping by online banking for themselves, and all you need is just press the button, and EMeS will do the rest. So what can EMeS be? EMeS is the first customer target is the post office, the most popular freight forwarding solution in Vietnam, with more than 80,000 post office and service point. So this is a very large market with and potential, because it's the most popular solution in Vietnam when people want to send some package. Besides, we can develop EMeS into a self-service device with to self-service device can be placed in some convenience store, such as Circle K or Winsmart or something, to increase efficiency and have people more convenient to send items even outside the office hours, and do not need to go to the post office in the area. With the advantage of serving 24/7 and high store density and post office, no need to have post office staff, and no need to hands-on when the customer sending the request. With such a market and great potential for development, so who is our competitor? Firstly, in Vietnam, we are the EMeS is the first company to research and develop the smart wearing product on the market. So currently, we do not have domestic competitor. In the world, we can mention some smart device that has the same feature as you can see here is from Korea or from India, but however, due to being researched and developed based on the Vietnamese logistic company behavior, EMeS is more suitable and much more cheaper with the same function with this device. And along with that, EMeS has high quality work face can meet the problem when problem in commercial product development, and we have people that can have experience in this field. So it is not that hard for us. So therefore, EMeS has been just and used to actual tests at Lạng Post Office. Then after 1 week testing, EMeS has been highly effective and received positive feedback from the office, and with the we can more specifically with the data comparison follow. EMeS can save 20% the shipping cost loss due to the exact measurement, and it just take about 5 seconds per parcel. That means we can save 90% time spent for each package. So that's it. Thank you for the listening. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm not speaking fluently.
Don't worry about it. We understand you very well, and you deliver really clearly. So don't worry at all. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's a great equipment as well. So I'm sure the judges are very impressed. I'll hand on to them to ask you some questions to understand about your company a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is Vivek. I'll just ask a question first. How long has this company been around? How long has your company been around?
You mean how long?
Yes. How old is your company?
It's about we are developing this device for more than a year.
1 year?
Yeah, more than that.
Okay. And so how many of these systems have been built?
You mean the tested system? or what?
Or how many units have you assembled? How many units have been assembled?
Currently, we are testing at the currently we have the EMeS version 3 is now developing, and the last two version is tested reality and get the good feedback.
Okay, so you have version 3, and how many units of version 3 have been made? Is it just one?
We just has the prototype for version 3.
Okay, just a prototype. Okay, I was just trying to understand where you are in. Okay, okay, all right. What do you think will be the cost of your unit? Because you said you will sell for half the price of the competition, but what is the cost of your unit likely to be?
Our price is about in the range from 3,000 to 4,000.
That's the price.
estimate.
That's the price. But
yeah.
what will be the cost to you?
The cost for each device,
yes.
The cost for
I think Vivek is asking you about the production cost.
Yes.
So, yeah, could you give him an estimate of that if you have?
I'm not sure about this. The cost maybe it's about 1.5 or 2 rands maybe.
Okay, and so it's basically you have a balance. So you have some kind of a scale or a balance that measures the weight, and then you have some kind of a sensing system that images and can measure the size of the object that is sitting there, right? You're doing two things. You measure a weight and you measure the dimensions with some kind of sensing. So what kind of sensing is it? Is it like an optical system, or is it near infrared sensing?
We have tested all the there's two sensor. One is ultrasonic wave.
Okay,
and one more is the optic sensor. We all have all these two in our last two version, and we're trying improve it in version 3.
Okay, so you have an ultrasonic and an optic sensor, and you also have a weight, right? You have to measure the weight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how is because the question is like, you don't have too many of these units. So one of the things you'll have to think about when you develop this product is like, how are you going to calibrate this? Because if people are going to be, because weights and calibration is a really important thing as part of commerce. Calibration is important, so you'll have to think about how these things will be calibrated and checked. No, that was just advice. Just think about it. That's not a question.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
All right. So I'll stop right there. Tuan?
Thanks. So did I understand that correctly? Is the goal to put this in every single post office in Vietnam?
That is our expectation, because when fully applied, each device has been each device will be a something like an access point. Yeah, that's mean when each package delivery in that post office or service point, when put into the device, you can it can scan the code or check the tag of the package and show to the system that the package is delivery in that post office. Yeah, that's the advantage of the fully applied.
But I think, let me just jump in here, because the question is, at least a question in my mind is, how do you sell to the post office? You know, because I would imagine the post office wants to buy across, they'll need to do some trials. So how do you sell to the post office? Selling to a government entity is usually complicated. So
we have to communicate with the post office, and as you can see that in the present, I had shown that the post office has test our product, and they feel good about it, and I think they will accept the equipment, I think.
no, so the question is, who makes those decisions? Who makes the decision for the post office to buy? So like, for example, if you were coming up with a delivery vehicle for the post office, so it's not just a local post office that's going to decide, right? It's someone in the central office who's going to make a decision that what's good for the whole post office system for Vietnam.
Yeah. When equipped, obviously we can we must start from the the big one. Then it's we will upgrade the other small one later. But in Lạng Post Office, why we choose them? Because Lạng Post Office is one of the biggest and have the much more customer per day. So the number and the numbers we have received, then we calculate is more exact than the smaller post office. So it's just for the testing. When fully applied, that will be different.
Okay. Go ahead, Tuan.
Sure. You know, I think what might be helpful, and you probably have all the answers to a lot of our questions already, but it's not presented in the slides, is, you know, going back to some of the initial questions about, you know, and I cannot speak to the technical side, but I will speak to the go-to-market side, is if you could, you know, maybe once you present again, if you could talk a bit more about, you know, what is it like to land that initial pilot with that first post office in Vietnam? What are they learning, and what is that path to commercialization for maybe a certain region of post offices, and then what does that path look like to a nationwide rollout, and how does that process work? Secondly, you had mentioned a potential commercialization within convenience stores. So, you know, how does that process look, and how do you help us understand what needs to happen in order for you to get to pilot, get to more commercialization, etc. So that would be incredibly helpful. And then I think you used the terms fully applicate, and I'm sorry, I don't understand it from my side as well. But maybe if you could break that down, it seems to me like there is some type of defensibility to your product around the data side that I'm probably not fully appreciating. But if you could break that down in the future, that would be super helpful. That's all the feedback and the questions I have. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, EMeS, and thank judges. We've reached the end of our competition today. All 5 teams have been very brilliant, very confident, and they have prepared us really well-detailed presentations. Very proud of our teams, and thank you, judges, again for spending your time. EMeS, you can hail off. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.